Here we go, everyone. This is Formula One. Incredible! What a move! Chaos. And he's done it!
It's a moment I will never ever forget.
What an absolutely ludicrous Monaco Grand Prix we have just witnessed here on the streets of Monte Carlo. Some may say Monaco can be a procession. At times it was, but ultimately Kimi Antonelli has just secured his 5th win in a row. And how much pressure did he have to absorb? Amidst a litany of penalties for a number of drivers, some major retirements from the race, another huge shift in the World Championship, and this teenager has become the youngest to ever win here, beating Lewis Hamilton's record. Let's get into it then, shall we? This is the post-race show. Jolyon Palmer is fresh from commentary. I say fresh loosely. Fresh. I don't think you're fresh after that marathon, and Juan Pablo Montoya as well. My goodness me. Jolyon, a word on Kimi Antonelli, because yes, you can win in Monaco from pole by just getting the laps done, and that's no mean feat. It's hard not to crash here. But he had to absorb safety car restarts and another standing start to get it done, and then throws in the fastest lap of the race.
Confidence, he's faultless, amazing weekend. This is the sort of circuit, I said, for Kimi or George, it's a difficult one to come when you are off the back of Montreal. Obviously, the gap blew open to 43 points. Could they keep up the form? It's going to be a test for Kimi off the back of 4 wins, because it's not an easy circuit, and you get too confident, you have a crash, and it brings you back down to earth. But he's going to be head in the clouds now. I mean, this performance was just outstanding. You can't fault him. All weekend, he had to deal with 2.5 hours of drama in his head. Imagine the intensity for a first race start. Then you control it. The team say, oh, if you want to come into the pits at some point, you can. He's like, no. Yeah. Leave me out. I'm just going to bring it home. No, you're not. Red flag. Go again. And he still was cool and calm and brought it there. He is just so impressive, and it gets better every week.
At times you could hear the stress in his voice when Bono was saying, well, we could bring you in and if there was a safety car, and he was saying, don't bring me in, I'm fine, leave me out here. But he's absorbing all of it, isn't he? How is he this good so young?
Well, he's been very good all through all his years of racing. The other thing is, when you already got 4 wins in a row, it just flows. It's not, if it's this for your first win, it's much harder. For a 5th win in a row, you're coming into the track every weekend and you're quick in practice, you put it on pole. It's so much easier to execute. I was really concerned about that last standing start. I thought with Lewis second, oh my God, this is going to be hard. And they nailed it. They were fast off the line again, and they did everything they needed to do. And it's crazy. I mean, the amount of things that happened today, it's like, I don't think we got enough time to talk about it.
We don't know. Absolutely don't.
But what I would say is the one thing I think he could work on, hey, as a driver, you've always got to figure things. When he came up to the grid for that last start, he was so cautious with his grid box. I have not seen someone for a long time
Yes,
start
I said
that
the
far
same
back.
thing. I was doing the Spanish one. I said, it's not a little bit. It's like Lewis was over the yellow line, like on the edge, and he was like, you know, about that much further back. It's like, I know you don't want to get in trouble, but don't make your life harder either.
It felt like he was just caught, and then you could see him trying to look out. That yellow line is not your grid box. The grid box is obviously the white one. You can't go over that. You can go over the yellow line. That's your reference for where you can start. And he obviously lost that and just thought, oh, I don't think I can go for it, so I'm going to be really cautious. Good news for him, good news for Mercedes. They can start. So now they've got all the weapons in their arsenal, and he has got a mighty championship lead.
He wants to avoid a penalty, of which we saw so many of. Lewis Hamilton, P2 today, P2 now in the driver's standings as well, 2 points ahead of George Russell. And Isaac Hadjar was standing in the Rebel Energy Station. He is P3, but under investigation for a red flag infringement. So if that news comes in, we'll bring it to you. Let's take a look at the race highlights. This could be quite a long one.
Welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix. Formula One goes racing on the street of Monte Carlo. Verstappen barely moves from the front row. And he has seen his Monaco victory chances disappear. Max Verstappen out of the car, out of the race. It's a 5-second time penalty for Lewis Hamilton. It's for speeding in the pit lane. Hadjar heads out onto the circuit and George Russell heads by. So the strategy works for the driver second in the points.
Something's wrong. I got nothing. My battery.
Lando, we're going to box this lap and retire the car. We're going to box the lap and retire the car.
Lance Stroll into the wall. The safety car is deployed.
This is going to work beautifully for Hamilton because he takes his penalty and Leclerc will sit behind him. So Hamilton will effectively take that penalty for no cost. Hadjar, I think, has come out ahead of Russell.
Yes.
Yeah, Hadjar jumped Russell.
The green flag flies. Oh, but into the wall and out of the race. Charles Leclerc from the podium to the wall. The second start of the Monaco Grand Prix. Antonelli versus Hamilton to win the Grand Prix, and Antonelli crawls off the line, but he's got what he needs. It's chaos behind. Into the wall. Kimi Antonelli wins the Monaco Grand Prix. The teenager can't stop winning in Formula One. That's 5 in a row.
Five in a row. That teenager continues to make history, not least becoming the youngest ever, the only teenager to win here in Monaco. We're talking about his starts and the improvement that had to be made. It was the one area where you felt he may have been lacking. Alex Brundle is poised to look at them for us now.
You're 19 years old. Pick 2 drivers you don't want to start next to try to take a Grand Slam victory in the Monaco Grand Prix. Max Verstappen lets Kimi Antonelli off the hook here on the original start. And that was done with confidence after all the pomp and ceremony at the beginning of the great race. Then you're 60 laps into the future. You've done the business. All of a sudden, you've got to do it all over again. Who do you not want to start next to? Lewis Hamilton in a lightning fast starting Ferrari. It's been so difficult this year for Kimi Antonelli. And look, reminiscent of earlier on in the year, the immediate look left to see how Hamilton's got on. But this was absolutely ice cool from the young driver who scored pole, the fastest lap, and led every lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. Gets it off the line despite the difficulties they've had all year, and even has the confidence to attack the braking zone down towards Saint-Devote. A masterclass in pressure management from the 19-year-old Mercedes superstar.
Thank you, Alex. Oh, just brilliant, wasn't it, from Kimi Antonelli today? And he absorbed all the pressure that he had to. We thought Miami was absorption from defending world champion Lando Norris. He had to do it again today on a place which really does bite back. And that was from Lewis Hamilton, a man who has won round here, who has now as many podiums around here as the late, great Ayrton Senna as well. This is a new era of Lewis Hamilton, isn't it? A post-2025 Lewis Hamilton, where many were saying he could, maybe should, retire. He seems so unhappy in the car, but he's back.
It's nice to see Lewis just in a comfortable place driving the car again. We're seeing his old flair behind the wheel. I think the Ferrari car is obviously suiting him. He said at the start of the year there's his DNA in the car. He's been behind the design process throughout last year, and it's clearly working. I didn't think he had a remarkable race at all. I mean, he was completely outpaced by Kimi, could never run with him. I don't know if he sort of accepted the fact that he would never get near Kimi and never race him, but there was sort of a few laps in the first stint. You thought, okay, 3 seconds, the gap's coming back down. Cooked his tyres, fell away, but was easily on the podium all weekend, and just picks up the positive momentum generally for him.
And on looking ahead to Leclerc's crash, what on earth's happening with those brakes at Ferrari?
I don't think
he
the
could barely
brakes.
speak, couldn't he? He said, I can't say what the issue is. But he was saying these brakes, and I won't use the word he did use before, the word brakes.
I don't think we're the brakes. The same thing as Stroll thought it was the brakes, but if you look at it, the truck was breaking up, and if you look at the left front tire of Stroll, it was so much dirt. And if you look at here, the guy that goes widest out of the 3 is him. He's the only guy that doesn't miss the patch. The first 2 missed the patch. He hit the patch right over the the loose gravel and it went straight. Of course, as soon as you go through the loose gravel, you're done.
There's something about this place in Charles Leclerc, isn't there? It's misery or magic. He's either crashing out or unable to start the race in dramatic, dire circumstances, or he's top step of the podium. There seems to be no happy medium for him. But crashing out from P3 in your home race...
It's how he drives, though. And I feel like, look, he's a sensational talent, but he drives like he either wants to win or he's happy to crash. And so I think he brings it on himself, the hero or zero mentality. You take the pole he took in 2021, provisional pole, wanted to improve, dumped it in the walls, gearbox issue, can't take the start. Yesterday in qualifying, he was on for pole position if he could hook up the final sector. He was neck and neck with Kimi, but he's having to push so hard, and he's taking risks basically that Lewis isn't. It makes him slightly quicker, but way more prone to crashing. And I think it's just in him this weekend. It's his home race. He's got a load of skill and a load of history around here in terms of achieving results. He's obviously super quick, but he's not willing to do anything worse than fight for the win. Whereas I do feel like Lewis was sort of settling for necessarily maybe the pace of the car at times, that Charles was pushing more than the car could do.
The hard thing here is the pace of the car, he's matching and he can beat Charles. The only way Charles can beat him is what he was doing there. He was overdriving the car, and you know what I mean? You can tell Lewis probably, if Lewis wanted to risk the car, he probably could have found a couple more tenths. But he knows they're not realistic tenths. You look at Antonetti's lap, you would have said he can go half a second quicker. He didn't make a single mistake. Car was in line everywhere, didn't touch any walls. So yes, you can say Charles, oh my God, and I don't have, you know what I mean? I think he's really, really quick, but I don't think he's had a teammate. And I think in his mind from last year, Lewis wasn't an issue. He could beat Lewis with his eyes closed. And all of a sudden we go to Canada and Lewis is really good. And then, Lewis in Canada is really good, but you come to your home race, new contract, new everything, and Lewis is on pace again. You start wondering what the hell's going on here. Like, I wouldn't you? It's like...
Yeah, but I still think he's right there on pace with Lewis.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying Lewis is quicker. I agree with you, but he's matching him.
Yeah, for me, most of the drivers are driving at 98, 99%, and I think Charles at 100%. And it's just the risk that you are...
Yeah, 102.
You're just taking the risk. If it pays off, you are putting... Even the lap before when he put provisional pole on yesterday, he almost dumped it in the wall at the swimming pool. Oh, it was such a big moment, and it was amazing to watch. Throughout his career, he's kind of driven like that. I remember Singapore pole in 2019. You're like one of the great laps. I still remember it. But he's nearly putting it in the wall. He is taking risks, and you either win or you bin. And the last couple of days, it's been a bin.
Yeah, a man who dances on the limit. We'll move to step 3 on the podium. That is currently occupied by Isaac Hadjar. We must run it right back to the very start of the race, which seems like absolutely hours ago now. I'm glad we got a second standing start. I felt a little shortchanged because we saw the DNF. Well, the DNS almost for Max Verstappen, didn't we? And what a shame that we didn't get to see that shootout between the two of them. And what a shame he couldn't capitalise on what was such a superb qualifying performance because of an issue with the car. I mean, just agonising for him.
Yeah, car died on him. Not much more to say, really. He felt something was wrong, he said, and then it materialised to be the case. So absolutely nothing to analyse for Max's performance. Just frustration for him, because I do think he's driven at an absolute top level as well this weekend. Would have surely had a podium, if not a chance of fighting with Kimi. So
I think something he did really good here is as soon as he noticed the car didn't go, he went left. Because it's so narrow here.
Yeah.
The pile-up you can cause by not getting out of the way, I think he reacted straight away, gave the room. And it's just frustrating. You know, he had such a good weekend coming, and we were all expecting a crazy fight. But I don't think anybody had anything for Kimi today. It's just he was on a different league.
Yeah, another planet. I think they were your words, weren't they, Julian? You have a flight to catch. We're going to let you go. The delay to the race means we're going to lose Julian a little early from the show. But thank you so much for all of your insights today. It has been an absolute cracker here at the Monaco Grand Prix. Okay, well, before Julian leaves, we are going to very briefly look at some beautiful shots of Monaco. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship and how things stand after round 6. Kimi Antonelli leading the way, 156 points, some 66 points behind then Lewis Hamilton. George Russell a further 68 points now behind that, and Charles Leclerc has dropped back as well to P4, 75 points on the board. Then the McLarens, and over to the bottom 10 there, Ollie Behrman, Franco Colapinto, Arvid Lindbergh, Carlos Sainz, Albon, Ocon, Bortoletto, Perez, Hulkenberg and Alonso, but keep your eye on Alonso. He may well pick up that point that Perez has if indeed we see a penalty for Perez. We're still deciding on these penalties. Bottas and Stroll rounding out our 22 drivers. All right, the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes, what an advantage they already have here. 244 points ahead of Ferrari's 165. McLaren, 118. Ferrari getting ahead of McLaren. Who will be the biggest threat to Mercedes? We'll find out. Red Bull then in P4, Alpine in P5, despite Gasly losing out today. Racing Bulls, a great performance from them. Haas, Williams, Audi, Cadillac, and Aston. But will Aston get ahead of Cadillac if indeed we do see that 1 point for Perez reversed? What a seismic day in both standings we have seen here at the Monaco Grand Prix. Just an utterly bonkers Grand Prix. And welcome back then to the Red Bull Energy Station and all of your analysis here in the post-race show. Let's talk about Isaac Hadjar, shall we? There is still a red flag infringement that is hanging over his head. We're going to wait to see what transpires there. It's to be investigated after the race, and I'm sure Red Bull officials are arguing the count with that one. Do we have any idea what that red flag infringement may be?
No, they didn't say. This is the crazy thing. They didn't say, they didn't show. It's hard, for us when we're watching the race, it's like when they're investigating the safety car as well, you know what I mean? It's like at some point it's like we want to know, and I think the teams want to know how do they need to handle it.
Sure.
So, but it's good. I mean, it's either way, he did an amazing job today. They had a problem with the car, they had a misfire, and I think it's funny because he said, they told him we're investigating the problem, and then they said, I don't think there's a solution, and he kept going and said, look, it's like, this is it, like drive it, and he did a really good job. I mean,
superb.
It's hard to know how good of a pace they would have had without the issue, but he did, he did a solid job. He did everything they needed to do. Red Bull again did at the end did what they needed to do to jump, Russell, so that was good.
The relief was palpable from Isaac Hadjar over the line. Why do we have to make it so difficult for ourselves? Piastri will be looking out for the result of that one. He finished P4 and could benefit if there is any sort of penalty for Isaac Hadjar. On the road, it was Pierre Gasly who came over the line in P3.
Hard break.
Pierre Gasly did not know he had a penalty. Let's hear from him first. This will be a tough listen.
Hey Pierre, you obviously did everything right today from a driving perspective, so just how does it feel right now, given that you missed out on the podium that could have been yours?
Right now I'm just heartbroken. I don't know what to say. I don't want to be speaking right now. We all work so hard to get these moments, and then when it gets taken away from you from things which we need to review. The team set the right speed limiter. I put it way before the line on both times, and crossed the line in P3 in Monaco in front of all the fans and all the people here, and in the end we get penalized and finish far away. I don't really know what to say.
I appreciate it's only just happened and you're still living it, but your performance this weekend has been outstanding. At some point, will you hopefully be able to take that as a positive moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, it's like we all work really hard for this podium, for this type of moments, to get the opportunities when they come to you. And it's been 10 years I do this. I have, 5 podiums in my career. It hurts when pass the line on the podium and then I don't know. Hopefully they can fight it. Hopefully they can appeal it. Because yeah, I just feel like we've done everything we had to do, but yeah.
Hard luck. Thank you.
The emotion is weighing so heavily on Pierre Gasly. I know over the line the radio was P3, expletive P3, to which he was told, wait. Why would Alpine have not told him he had penalties hanging over his head? Were they still arguing and hoping that it would be overturned?
Yeah, I would assume they're probably having a conversation of one is arguing and two is, do we tell him? That's the other comment. You know, he's doing such a good job. He's so focused. Do we just let him drive the wheels of the car and see where we finish? And that's
Would you
it.
rather know as a racing driver the situation?
Yeah,
Because I think I would. But
I would
driver.
too. And it's a heartbreak. The tough part here is on pit entrance. When you come around the corner, you gotta go right before you go left, and you can cut that little corner. And some people got caught up in practice as well, caught in the corner and get penalized. Because during the race, we're analyzing: are they miscalculating the line? Because when you exit pit, you have the start-finish line and the pit lane exit. So did you press it in the wrong line? But it seems like everybody was on pit entrance. So the hard thing is when you're at pit road speed, you need to be, theoretically, you don't have to be within the two lines, but if the line is longer, you need to stay that way because you're just cutting meters off and you're still going at 60, but you're cutting the distance.
Russell, Hamilton, Piastri, Gasly twice, and Colapinto all picked up what seemingly were bizarre speeding in the pit lane infringements, and Russell also not serving that penalty properly through a Mercedes loophole perhaps that they were trying to work out. But for Gasly, for Alpine, this would have meant so much after such a hard 2025, wouldn't it? How does he bounce back from this?
You just keep your head down and keep working. You know what I mean? You're competitive. You're showing that that the team is going in the right direction, that things are happening. You just keep your head down and keep working. And you gotta use first the performance and second the anger to work even harder towards it.
Can I ask you about George Russell? While we're on the speeding in the pit lane infringements, obviously he had the penalty. He came in, he served a 5.5 second stop, but it wasn't deemed that he had served the penalty correctly. He then is told, stop speaking on the radio about this, we're trying to sort it out. What was going on there? Was that some sort of loophole they were trying to
Yes,
use?
he stopped on pit road, but he did not stop on the box.
Not in the box.
So theoretically, he did serve it, but you didn't serve it properly. It's like if you had a stop and go, there's championships where the stop and go is a separate box to your box. So if you went to your box and did a stop and go, it wouldn't count. So the crazy thing with the pit entrance is not new. It's like I remember when I raced here, they used to tell us, remember when you never cut that corner because you're gonna get caught speeding. So it's not something new, but you know, you do so many races and so many events, and the heat of the moment you're racing, especially when you're racing that close to everybody, you want to gain every little inch. And you think, you know, we're not, if the pit road speed is 60, we're 59.8, 59.7, we're just going to get close. Lewis Hamilton was 60.01. He got cut for 0.01 of a kilometer an hour. That's like 0.006 of mile an hour, you know?
But it's Monaco.
It is.
What happens in the pit lane could very well decide your finishing position. George Russell also with a bizarre move to sort of back everyone up at the hairpin, ultimately causing a collision between Hülkenberg and Sainz. Let's hear from George Russell on what has been a very difficult day for Kimi Antonelli's teammate.
Hey George, I felt for you because it felt like Groundhog Day, like nothing was going right for you today. It felt like penalty after penalty. What's the kind of overriding emotion after such a difficult day?
I'm flat. I'm like beyond frustration. I'm in like a state of struggling to comprehend what is going on. The team told me there's nothing I did wrong in the pit lane. I pressed the limiter before the entry. I released it after the exit, but there was a software issue. 5-second penalty, not ideal, not the end of the world. But then with the pit stop, couldn't serve it, drive-through penalty, punishment doesn't fit the crime, and I went from P3 to 0 points.
So when you look at the weekend as a whole, you could have fought back up to P3, I think, which would have been a great result. You are showing the sides of if it goes right, it could be okay. Can you take that as something of a positive, or is the frustration just building?
Yeah. I know if things go smoothly, I'm fine. I've won. We've won 2 of the 3 sprint races. We won in Melbourne. I was leading in Canada. Car broke down. I was leading in Japan. Poor safety car timing. Could have been on the podium here today. I know it's all possible, and I haven't lost any faith in myself. Yesterday, yes, was a really bad day for me, but I still could have been on the podium today. But all of these other factors, I wish I could take some blame for what. I'd probably sleep better knowing, like, the failure in Canada was because I hit a curb wrong, and the pit limiter today I came in too fast. But when it's just totally out of your control, it's a tough one.
Thanks, George. I like it.
George Russell, P14, 68 points now behind teammate Kimi Antonelli, who took the win here in Monaco. Oh, must be tricky in that Mercedes hospitality.
This is an extraordinary location. Espen!
Hello!
Thanks for having me around.
I only recently moved to this place.
Such a lovely place that you've got. You can be my tour guide today, mate.
Yep.
What a part of the world to live in.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, here we are. Oh my gosh.
It's like a proper moto track.
I was slightly quicker than you.
No. It was my last chance.
You don't make friends on track. I knew that it was going to be a pretty big story.
You can't make enemies this early in your career.
Such a great experience getting thrown in at the deep end.
So that was quite a lot for you to deal with.
I think we just asked too much of him too soon.
People wrote me off too quickly. I will always remember that one. It's quite crazy, no? Now this is what everyone really wants to see. How well can Oscar Piastri park?
I'll tell you what, when Lawrence Barretto isn't asking drivers who may be very, very upset and very angry difficult questions in the media pen, which is just over there here in Monaco, he does have a good life, doesn't he? Make sure you get across everything on F1 TV. Scan the QR code on your screens right now. You'll have the likes of Palmer's analysis, which will be hours long after this one, I think. The cool down room, which will be a good watch after the Monaco Grand Prix. Tech Talk and so much more. So get across all of our F1 TV shows. Scan that QR code right now. And from here in Monaco. And welcome back to the Monaco Grand Prix. Welcome back down to the Red Bull Energy Station. Juan Pablo, we'll look at some of the penalties that are maybe yet to be decided. Sergio Perez, firstly in the wrong grid box initially, in Gabi Bortoletto's grid box penalty, and then at the second start after the red flag, it looks as though he may have gone long. We're yet to hear from that. What we saw in pictures seems he may have done, but he does have the point for now. Huge for Cadillac either way, this, isn't it? And huge for Aston if it's overturned.
Yes.
That feels to me the battle for P10 and P11 is being played out in front of us.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's still very early in the year, so there's a lot of opportunity to score points. Upgrades, cars are going to change a lot, but at the moment, I think both of them are desperate for points. I think, is Cadillac celebrating the first point that might be taken away? Is Aston got the champagne ready to go for that first point, even with the struggle they had this year? Yeah, I don't know. The question is, where was the tire where he's touching over the line, or, you know what I mean? This is the critical part, because he might look over the line, but he might be on the line. Yeah. So this is very, very critical. So we'll see. You know what I mean? This is the thing. When is that last start, everybody, except Kimi that didn't have to, was taking every inch of the grid box.
And that's how tight this may be, and that's why clearly stewards are taking a long time to make sure they get this absolutely right. We mentioned, of course, George Russell backing up the field into the hairpin. Just quickly, you believe that was to try and find some space for that drive and go penalty?
Yeah, at that point, you need to, I mean, you don't have a lot, so you don't want to let everybody run with the leaders. It's better to back off and push really hard. And if you push really hard, you might get enough seconds to get a point or two. And the pace of everybody at that point seemed to be pretty competitive. Like he wasn't as quick, I think, as you expected to be.
And in that melee at the hairpin, we saw Hulkenberg into Sainz. I think he was then maybe clattered by Colapinto as well. So ultimately, from potentially a points-paying position for Williams, he was down DNF. Hulkenberg with that 10-second penalty, that would have been a huge return for Audi too. They'd shown so much pace in practice. It came undone in quali. For teams like this, these little points, picking them up here and there, how crucial and important are they?
It's huge for the constructors because races like this, teams like, as we see, a Cadillac that it shouldn't be scoring points at the moment, they're doing a really good job, but they're not in a scoring position yet. They might take some points, and if the car gets better, you never know. You never know how things might change.
And just a reminder, we are waiting to see whether the red flag infringement will see Isaac Hadjar on the podium, off the podium.
I know more about that.
You have some information for me?
Yes, it seems like they were working on the car, trying to fix the issue. And from what my understanding is, when they asked them, what are you doing, they revert everything how the car was. So the question is, were they allowed to work on the car? If they didn't change anything, they might be okay, but if the intention was there, they might, I don't know how. That's the problem. That's the hard part is the stewards need to decide, okay, they opened the car, touched the car, but you didn't change anything, then it shouldn't be a penalty, and that's a good argument. And the other argument is, well, you were trying to.
I'll tell you what, the stewards have been unbelievably busy today, haven't there?
Yes.
So many penalties, speeding in the pit lane, red flag infringements, safety car infringements, and we'll bring you all the news as we get it.
It's race day. Our battle in Barcelona. The capacity crowd will roar for Sainz and Alonso.
Welcome to Barcelona.
We're racing to turn number 1. Verstappen, he's going to take second place. Oh, off the road. Drama everywhere you look. So many highlights in a very popular stop on the calendar.
See you in Barcelona. Enjoy the show.
Absolute jubilations for Oscar Piastri.
Thank you very much, everybody.
What a Grand Prix.
And here is the schedule for how things look for round 7 in Spain. Weekend warm-up coming to you at 4:30. FP1 at 1:10 for all of our build-up. FP2 at 4:20 from Barcelona. FP3, 12:10, 15:25 for the pre-qualifying show. A 4 p.m. start for qualifying and your post-qualifying show just afterwards. And then race day in Spain. What will we see there after all the drama here in Monaco? 10-2 for that one. 3 p.m. start for the Spanish Grand Prix and the post-race show. Coming to you just after that one. Kimi Antonelli will head to that race, leader of the World Championship. He continues to make history. No other driver has picked up their first 5 consecutively in a row, and no other teenager has ever won around the streets of Monaco. Can the run continue for Kimi Antonelli? Let's take a look ahead then to the Spanish Grand Prix, shall we? I mean, if this was anything to go by, we could be in for a treat, couldn't we? Is this now Kimi's to lose? Is every weekend a Mercedes track and a Kimi Antonelli win?
No, it's going to be every week. I think we're going to see George bounce. George needs to bounce. If he survives all this, we're going to have an amazing George Russell after this. Because when you struggle and when you go through difficult times and you make it across to the other side, you always come out stronger and better. So I'm hoping he does, because it'd be amazing to see fights between the Mercedes. For the championship, we're still really early, but the points list is massive. But you know how this is. You go to two races, you get comfortable that you got enough points, and things go up in smoke really fast. So I wouldn't count, I wouldn't count my chips yet, but it's looking that way. The other thing going into Barcelona is it's one of the most well-known track by all the teams and all the drivers. So it's a place where everybody's going to be really close again. It's not a place where I think Mercedes is going to be really quick again, for sure. We're going to see a strong McLaren that we didn't see this weekend. I think McLaren is going to be relieved to get out of here. We're going to see a Red Bull, I think, is going to be strong there again. And how good is Ferrari is going to be strong, but it's a place where horsepower makes a difference.
so many drivers will be looking for a bit of redemption, won't they, after this weekend? Not least Lando Norris and McLaren, a DNF. George Russell, you just said there how he has to come back stronger from this. It feels like familiar ground for everybody. Who do you think that Barcelona circuit may suit?
I think George. I know Kimi's won everything, and I'm a huge Kimi fan, I gotta admit. But if I would put money in Barcelona today, I would put it in George.
Max Verstappen's going to be wanting to come back after a DNF as well. It has been the day of days here at the Monaco Grand Prix. You may have thought after qualifying, well, that would be the finishing order for tomorrow's race, bar the odd DNF here and there for maybe hitting a wall. Oh no. We had penalties, we had DNFs, we had a bit of everything, a bit of magic and a bit of history. Thank you, Juan Pablo, for talking through all of that with me. And there is still more to come. Keep your eye on the results because we could see a podium overturn for Isaac Hadjar. His first in Monaco, we really hope not. And Perez may lose that 1 point to Alonso in the battle towards the back of the field as well. So stay across all of the news on F1.com and online. From here in Monaco, though, I think that's about it, isn't it? We'll see you in Spain. Goodbye for now.
Next time in Formula One.
Welcome to Barcelona. We're racing to turn number 1.
Ferrari mean business.
Off the road goes Kimi Antonelli.
This is a battle that keeps on giving.
We're getting so many moves at corners we don't normally see.
How about that?